Welcome back to the Hour Back Report for the first time in several weeks. I'm Jordan, joined by Jack. RIP. We already went through this on the pesky report, but RIP our Riverside era. We tried twice. Both times my computer quite literally exploded. It did not go well. RIP to the 15 minutes of Peyton Pritchard discourse for Jack.
It was my finest hour, maybe, on this entire. Like, as long as we've been doing the show, like, it's the best thing I've ever done. It might be the best thing I've ever done in my life.
We might have to at some point attach it to an episode just to make sure that it gets out there. Maybe I'll just throw it into this one just at the end. Just be like, here's our bonus coverage, and it's just that. They'll get to hear the intro one more time, and that'll be that. But yeah, Jack, how we doing tonight?
On the whole, good. No game tonight, so can't react to them winning on a Wednesday.
Yeah, but it feels like they've been losing Wednesdays lately.
That's true, because they got smoked in the Hornets game and then in Denver. So yeah, they've been on but like, we didn't successfully record either of those Wednesdays, and I think there's a link.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they do next week. They're playing Golden State at the Garden on a Wednesday. I have a good feeling.
Yeah, especially if because Steph's out, already out for that one. So, like, they said he's out for at least 10 more days. So
yeah, and that's in 7 days.
Yeah, so we're humming. The Steve Kerr hate watch is gonna be Tatum's first efficient shooting night of the season. It's
Who
gonna be
leads Golden State in shot attempts without Curry, Butler, or Kuminga? Like, who actually will be taking the shots on that?
It's got to be Podziemski, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, D'Anthony Melton is their highest scorer, who's not any of those guys.
Let's see, how do they rank in shot attempts this season?
Melton is third behind Steph and Butler.
Oh, Porzingis legacy game. That is 100% what we're getting if he's available. I still don't understand
you to assume Kristaps Porzingis is going to play an NBA basketball game.
Did you see the thing that was going on? Oh, I think we both sent something about that in our group chat. Like, Steve Kerr's like, no, he actually doesn't have pots.
Yeah, then what does he have?
Genuinely, what's Porzingis got? I mean, it's none of our business what he's got.
Right, yeah. But
that was just floating out there for almost a year. And then it's just like, by the way, no.
To agree upon it, or at least not disagree with it. Like, there was never like a Shams nah, or even like a Joe Mazzulla or Brad Stevens, nah, like,
or Porzingis,
right?
Not like a week ago.
And then like Steve Kerr, who, granted, maybe Steve Kerr's just wrong, and maybe that is what he has, and Steve Kerr's just stupid. I'm not ruling that out, but like, this is, I don't know, like, we need to maybe he should be in like the next season of The Pit or something. Like, we gotta get to the bottom of this.
Can we revive the show House? Because House would find out in a heartbeat. He would do some very unethical things to find out, but at least we'd have answers. And I mean, I want this for Porzingis as well. I mean, if he has no idea what he's got, that can't be comforting. He's only played 3 games as a Warrior, which I'm sure doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They are bad. They don't really care what's going on over there. They're just glad that Kuminga's gone. But yeah,
trade, you do need trade value.
That is true. Or just find somebody who also has none, and that is Kristaps Porzingis in a nutshell at this point. It's still crazy that like how quickly his career has basically gone to shit. Because like, at least before he left Boston, I mean, it was already kind of trending downward. Obviously, the playoffs were abysmal, and like the back 10 games of the regular season last year were bad. But like, everywhere he went, even if he fell out of favor with each organization, like, he was a good player for all of those teams. And then just like Now he's an immaculate grid square. He barely plays basketball, which I guess was always his issue, but like now it's like some mysterious illness that nobody knows, nobody's allowed to know, and I really do question if he even knows it.
Yeah. And like even with like and that's it is a weird situation where it's like the guy is obviously like supremely talented, when he's physically capable of being so. And he was a top 5 pick, and he was great from the rip in New York, and then he was really good in Dallas until they made him stands in the corner and only shoot threes. And then he was like he had been, as you said, like great at every stop, even if the team's success didn't always match it. He really wasn't contributing to any meaningful winning that was going on until Boston. But it's been like this rapid downfall for a guy who isn't that old. Like he's only 30. Like it's not like he's like 36, 37, and like he's on his last legs. Like he should still be like a guy who can be relied upon, but I do feel bad because like this is a guy who like, I say it all the time. If you showed someone game 1 of the 2024 finals and they would think that Kristaps Porzingis was the greatest basketball player who ever lived. When he came into that game and started blocking all those shots and just like dominating everyone off the bench, you'd think he's what you tell kids Wilt Chamberlain was or Shaq was. Like that was Kristaps Porzingis in that game.
Yeah, admittedly, I didn't grow up the diehard basketball fan like that I am with baseball. But like I personally have never seen like a non top dog like LeBron, Kobe, Tatum, guys like that. Just like it feels like a disservice to call Kristaps Porzingis a role player, but I guess in Boston he kind of was, even though he was really like it was like a 2A, 2B situation with him and Jaylen at the time, or I guess like a 1C because he was at any given night could lead the team in scoring, but just completely take over a game, especially when he came off the bench. Like that's something we've seen Pritchard do in the regular season many times, but like he was the best player on the floor in game 1 of the NBA finals
Yeah.
and wasn't nearly as good in game 2. And then obviously he like wrecked his calf. And that was, you know, the beginning of the end, but it's like, it's not even like he's been a bad player this year when he's played. It's just, he doesn't
Doesn't play.
play. He's played 20 games this season. And like, even last year, as bad as it got, like he he shot 41% from 3 on 6 attempts. That was higher than it was the year before when he was like in like loved by the Celtics fan base. He only dropped his average in points by 0.6 in year 2 with Boston. It just
Right.
ended so ugly. So hopefully whatever it is gets resolved at some point, because like you said, he's only 30 years old. Like he feasibly could have like 7 years, 8 years left in the league. But the way it's trending, it seems like we're probably talking like 3, maybe like the rest of this contract. And then like maybe another team gives him an opportunity. And then if it's more of the same, I don't see another team giving him a shot after that. Maybe he'll
Yeah.
go back and play overseas, but his NBA career very much in jeopardy the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, and like obviously Kristaps loves basketball, so like that would be the reason he would continue to play overseas. But like if his body like can't handle it, like please go retire and like
Yeah.
don't die, please. Cause like it especially like with someone who is like that freakishly tall. Like we don't build 7'3" people. That's not normal. So like not that he's listening to us,
He might.
especially
He's got plenty of free time.
that's true, especially for health advice. But like please take care of your shit, Kristaps. Like I don't want anything bad to happen to you.
Yeah,
You will
for
always
sure.
be in my heart. You are a Celtics jersey that hangs proudly in my closet.
Yeah, I felt like the hate of him was a bit forced. Like he like or maybe not forced because he kind of played his way into being hated, but like the people that were trying to minimize his impact in the title run, like I know he missed a lot of time, but he still played how many games in year 1 with the Celtics? He played 57 games in the regular season. Like that's not insignificant. And they were boat racing the Miami Heat in the last game that he played in that series in game 3, or was it game 4 that he got hurt? I don't remember. I think it
I
was
don't
I
remember
actually
either.
think it was game 4 now that I think about it. And they missed him. I mean, I know that they only lost one game those final two Eastern Conference series, but like you could see that they definitely missed him. I don't think they would have handled Dallas the way they did. I still think they would have beat them
I agree.
pretty in like 6 maybe, but um they don't win game 1 without him, and who knows how different that series goes if you lose game 1 at home, especially with the way Luka is a front runner with the postseason and shit like that. But anyway, 11 minutes into a Celtics podcast, and we've barely talked about Jayson Tatum.
Who?
Yeah, that guy. Uh,
I heard he has no aura.
no aura, absolutely none. Um, man, it's I know he hasn't been like spectacular since coming back, but oh my god, did I miss watching him play basketball? I've watched his return highlights so many times. Like I've never been so happy to watch like a 5 for 15 in in my life. That was a hell of a lot of fun. What are your thoughts been on Tatum so far? And then I mean, I guess just his return in general. That's that one game, and then overall since his return.
Yeah, and I think obviously that return game, even though it's the fewest points he scored among the games, that's the game, at least for now, that like anyone who actually has watched is gonna circle and be like, just the effect of having him back on the floor at TD Garden and what that means to the organization, to the team, to the city, you know, as much as, and I'm guilty of it too, we rush to anoint Roman Anthony and Drake May and these great young players we have, and we are so lucky to have so many great young players in the city at the moment. And that's not even mentioning Christian Gonzalez. And Jayson Tatum has been like that guy, kind of carrying the torch basically since, you know, Brady left and then the Mookie trade, where it's like you lost those two like clear superstars, and it's kind of been Tatum. And obviously, Pasta's great, but hockey's a much smaller sport than the other three. And Tatum's been kind of the face of the city in terms of sports, and to have him back, it means a lot. And I think on the whole, yeah, he's far from a finished product in terms of his health. I think people are a little overreacting to like his movement stuff. He hasn't played NBA basketball, guys. Like I think when like I see people on Twitter being like, oh, like that athleticism's gone for good. It's been 3 games. I'm not willing to say that yet. If we're at this point next season and his athleticism is where it is today, then sure, we can say that. But it's been 3 games. He's not fully conditioned. He didn't, have a regular offseason. He's coming off an Achilles injury that he is playing on in like record time. This isn't, I think people are so quick to want to criticize and, grade Tatum on like a scale that's different. He was somehow getting shit on in the Bam game last night. Like it turns into LOL. If it was Tatum, he would have checked himself out and texted Kobe's number. And it's like, what did Tatum do? He's not even in this
I
game.
laughed at that joke. I'm not gonna lie. That was I thought that was pretty funny.
But I mean, I think the Dallas game looked the best he played because that's the version of Tatum we love. And it's on the whole the most efficient game he played. I know in the San Antonio game he shot a little better overall, but he shot worse from 3. But you also had the 12 rebounds and the 7 assists, and that's what makes Tatum a great player, is the way he's able to contribute at everything. He's a great ball handler. He attacks the glass, and he's one of the most effortless scorers in the league when he chooses to be. And it's a massive boost. I mean, the Celtics are now second to Oklahoma City in title odds, which if you told people going into this season that when we're recording on March 11th, the Celtics are the second favorite to win the NBA championship, people would probably look at you like you're crazy. And here we are. And if Tatum wasn't back right now, they'd probably still be high, honestly, just because of how good they've been and how weak the Eastern Conference is overall. But they wouldn't be above Denver or San Antonio. They probably wouldn't even be above the Knicks or Detroit. Like, that's the effects of having Jayson Tatum, even if he's only 60% of Jayson Tatum right now.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with him so far, even though again the efficiency hasn't been it feels like he's kind of trying to find his legs at the same. I mean, obviously he's trying to find his legs, but like the first two games, I felt like he was missing a lot of his jump shots short. I thought against the Spurs, he was missing a lot of them long. And like eventually, not to steal a quote from early in the season, but like eventually water's going to find its level. He plays 15 games. By game 15, I'm sure the shot's going to be okay. It may not be. I mean, Tatum's always been a very streaky shooter. That's a byproduct of being a jump shooter. I mean, as great as Jaylen's been this year, and like he's an MVP candidate, like his efficiency has not been very good since the start of 2026. And people ignore that because of the amount of points he's been putting out. But I agree. Dallas was the best he looked, and I think a lot of that had to do with doing it in front of the home crowd. Um, well, I think the best he looked was the first quarter against Cleveland, but the best game he had was obviously against Dallas, and it was kind of crazy, watching. It was really sad to watch the first like what 18 minutes of game time and he's like bricking everything. He even
Yeah.
airballed an open three and it was like, oh no. Like this is one of the saddest returns from an injury I've ever seen. Like he literally looks like I mean, he got a few boards, he got a few assists, like he was doing the other things, but it was a bad watch. And then gets the putback dunk, and then 10 seconds later, the step back three in the corner. And I'm like, this motherfucker is back. Like we went from it's so over to we're so back in like record time. Um, and I think that's what we're going to see probably for the rest of the regular season. Like I'm sure he'll have a couple of games where he just overall looks like the Jayson Tatum of old. But I think we're going to see it more so in flashes, and it's kind of like a matter of timing those at like opportune points of the game. And that's why Jaylen now, settling into more of a not necessarily a Robin role, but like them kind of both taking a lion's share of the touches as they've done in the past. But like Jaylen getting back to his efficient ways is paramount. Derek White being way more efficient than he's been overall this season is paramount. And then getting, the kind of production they've gotten out of Cade the last, few weeks. Again, we haven't recorded since like before the All-Star break, I think. Or like no, we recorded before the return to the season, before the return to play. But
Was that an attempt to get your buzzwords in by mentioning Paramounts multiple times?
No, actually, but now that you mention it, it's it's been nice to watch him play though, and that's kind of really the main thing. And they won obviously the first two games with him back, including one against Cleveland, who was one of the hottest teams in the league. I think they'd shown on ESPN before the game, like the pairing of James Harden and Donovan Mitchell has been like ridiculous, like historically nasty, at least entering that game. And the Cavs went 0 for 14 from three in the second quarter. So like that helped a lot. And obviously they got it to, I think, within 8 in the fourth, but the Celtics just kept piling on, and it's just they're a different animal, even if Tatum's not Jayson Tatum. I mean, we've seen them win despite inefficient shooting from him many times over the years, but it's different now. I'm very excited to see how this team finishes the regular season, and then obviously goes into the playoffs. And they still might be the 1 seed when all is said and done. Like the Pistons are cratering right now. It's nice. It's a nice time to be a Celtics fan, even if last night did not go so well. But yeah, 3.5 back of the 1 seed with how many games left? 17 games left. So,
Yeah.
I missed watching that man hoop though. I really did. I really did. Any other thoughts on Tatum overall before we get into the head ass shit that was the ref throwing Jaylen out last night?
I like having Jayson Tatum on my basketball team, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Cool.
It is nice. It's certainly better than not having Jayson Tatum on your basketball team.
Yeah, which
Um,
I feel like every other fan base is gonna have to grapple with.
yeah, definitely. I mean, there's definitely some fan bases that I think are at least have a player where it's like, you know, if like OKC and Denver can be like
San
whatever.
Antonio.
San Antonio can be like whatever.
Are there
Two of
any
the
other teams though? Like,
I mean, pre like 2024, 25 Milwaukee with
yeah,
Giannis, I think it's
yeah.
still Luca before it became commonplace to call him fat. I've always been calling him fat because he's always been fat.
Yeah, I always have too, and like people would yell at me for saying Jayson Tatum is much better at basketball than Luka Doncic, but like he is.
Yeah. Like Luca, much better scorer.
Yeah, but there's more to basketball than
But
that.
yeah, there's so many other components to winning a basketball game, like not giving up 40 points. And that's actually, I guess, one more thing I want to say about Tatum is I think he's looked great defensively for the most
Yeah,
part. I think the first two games he was holding opponents to like a 30% field goal percentage. I don't know how he fared as a defender last night. I didn't feel like the Spurs missed a whole lot, period, especially in the second half. Um, but I think he's looked really good on the defensive end. There's no hesitation in his shooting. It's just a matter of like make versus miss at this point. He's getting downhill at times, could maybe stand to do it a little bit more instead of just chucking. I think he took 14 threes last night and made two, so or three of them. So maybe don't do that. But he's got to find the shot at some point, and they'll need it in the playoffs, especially. I mean, they could go what 9-9 the last 18, and like I it doesn't really change how I feel about them going into the playoffs as long as
yeah,
Tatum consistently is looking better each and every game.
yeah. And I think you're gonna build that momentum. I think obviously, he's not gonna play every game between now and the rest of the season, nor should he. Keep him fresh, keep building that confidence and building that game speed back up for the postseason because you are going to need him in every postseason game if you're going to make a serious run in the East, which I see no reason why they shouldn't.
Yeah, the East is like we said at the beginning of the season. The East isn't very good.
Right.
Um, and like I think I don't remember where I had the Celtics. I think I had them as like the 4 or 5 seed. I think you were in kind of a similar boat, and then I think Jamie had them in like that 6 seed spot. So like kind of on the cusp of not being a playing team.
Yeah, I think I
Um,
had them at the 4. I think I
yeah,
had them behind the Knicks, the Cavs, and Orlando. And Orlando is just completely dropped off the face of the earth.
yeah, because of what's the freaking hater nickname for Paulo? Isn't it PB No J? Because
Yeah.
that's one of the greatest hater nicknames I think of all time.
Yeah.
That's got to be up there. That's fantastic. Well done. The internet when it's not like incredibly problematic, which is rare, it's so funny. Like some
Oh,
people
yeah.
are so creative in how well they hate. I wish I could be that creative. Um, including, but when it is problematic, includes doxing people. I did see that ref's address posted last night. last night.
And you did call in a bomb threat.
I did. I didn't. I'm just kidding. FBI agent in my camera. I'm sorry, Cash Patel. Please do not come to my house and arrest me. Um, but yeah, I the look on that ref's face. I already forgot his name, but the look he was giving Jaylen Brown before the other ref threw him out. Such chicken shit behavior, man. And I love how Jaylen went into the locker room and immediately grabbed his phone and tweeted like it was high school. That's
Yeah,
so funny. Um,
that killed me.
so funny. This is the shit I'm talking about, man. Jalen's very funny. Like he's corny, but it works for him. It's so funny. He's so unapologetically himself. That killed me, but they could have used him last night. But unfortunately, the NBA had other plans and wanted to ruin a nationally televised game by throwing out an MVP candidate because he was mad that the ref blew a call that he very clearly blew, and
Yeah.
another ref threw him out for it. So stupid. So dumb. What were your thoughts on the Jaylen Brown ejection?
That it was stupid. Like, and like you know, it's this weird situation where it's like, I get you're not supposed to complain to the refs, especially like he kept kind of pushing that issue. It wasn't like immediately after it happened, he went like he kind of kept going, but also like he was right.
Yeah.
And like it's also a sport where we've kind of gotten out of control, and it's always kind of been that way. People always talk about the star whistle and all that. And it's like, especially with the season Jalen's having and being a finals MVP and all that, you know, he probably expects a easy, obvious call to go in his favor. And when it doesn't, he's gonna get a little ticked off.
Yeah. And like everything Jaylen did after getting ejected was completely like he was ready to kill the I keep forgetting the ref's name, the one whose address got posted. Um, but he looked like he was ready to kill him. But I think it just what made it worse for me, outside of just the fact that it was completely weak of the other official to come and like fight that other ref's battle, um, was the play. I don't remember if it was after Jaylen got thrown out or if it was beforehand. But Tatum goes up for a layup, lands. He makes the shot over Wembanyama, and Wemby just shoves him to the ground. Like he
Yeah.
like full on like forearm extended, like just shoves him. Not only was it not a flagrant, it wasn't even a foul. That doesn't make any sense. Like I get that Wemby deserves a superstar whistle because I mean, if it's if you're gonna have it, there's a few players in the league quite like him. There's actually no players in the league just like him. But he also like shoved another premier player to the ground, and it was just okay. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not like gonna blame the refs for why the Celtics lost last night, but they certainly, I mean, not having Jaylen Brown for half of the basketball game certainly can play a part in losing a game by 9 against a good team. So, especially because Jaylen was playing really well. He had what 10 points and 7 assists at that point. Like, and like Tatum wasn't shooting very well, and like Derek White at 34, season high for him. Um, they could have. Ron Harper Jr. had 22, career high for him. By the way, what a freak Ron Harper Jr. is. I don't understand like what they're feeding that man, but it's working. But yeah, Jaylen gets thrown out and they lose a big game by 9, and not fun. Not fun. Really annoying when ref ball gets in the way of what promised to be a good basketball game. It still was a good basketball game, but you know, I'd rather watch Jaylen Brown play than, as much as I love him and I bought his jersey. I'd much rather watch Jaylen than Baylor Shireman hoop.
That's brave of you to say.
Yeah, a controversial yet very brave, I would say. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, not a whole lot. Well, I mean, there is a whole lot we can talk about because we haven't recorded in almost a month. But I guess one other thing that we should hit on is that Nikola Vucevic is out for the next month because he fractured his finger in Tatum's return.
More Luka Garza minutes.
And I saw Bobby Manning tweet like that Luka Garza fits what the Celtics want to do more than Vucevic. And like that's incredibly asinine.
Yeah.
No, he isn't.
No, he's not. Not even a little bit.
No, he does not. Like Luka Garza he's fine. Like he's not a horrible basketball player. I mean, he's obviously in the NBA and he's given the Celtics good minutes over the course of the season. But it's like he's either incredibly unplayable or he's passable. And like sometimes he'll have like 16 points and 8 offensive rebounds, and it's like, haha, he had a good game. Nikola Vucevic is somebody who can like exploit matchups. Luka Garza can never do that. He can make open shots.
He can
That's
get
about it.
exploited.
He gets exploited. We watched him get hunted by Kevin Love in the big 2025. Utah Jazz Kevin Love exploiting Luka Garza. Just
Yeah, as mediocre of a defender as Vooch is, he's not going to get hunted by Kevin Love.
yeah, not especially not nowadays. I mean, if it were 2016 Kevin Love, everyone was getting hunted by him. He was an animal, but like not anymore. I'm gonna miss Vooch. He was very much having an up and down start to his Celtics career. This certainly won't help things as he now has to watch from the sidelines as they make a playoff push. But he should be back. What in time for? I mean, assuming no setbacks, he should be back for like the final 4 or 5 games of the regular season. Get tuned up and hopefully he's ready to go for round one.
Yeah.
Um,
He
but
can have his Kristaps game 1 moment.
he could. Hopefully, he does. It's not followed by his Kristaps Game 2 moment or his Kristaps 2025 postseason moment, because that would suck. That would really hurt. But yeah, gonna miss Vooch. I've seen a lot of people saying they wish that the Celtics just kept Anthony Simons because Vooch is hurt and Vooch
No, thank
was
you. Well, what's
struggling.
crazy too, I've seen that take, and not only that, when people correctly talk about like how great Pritchard has been since the Simons trade, they're like, I've seen so many people say, "Well, yeah, you could have just started Simons the whole time." As if that's the no, like that's not how it works.
No,
Like, it's not like Pritchard mentally as the 6th man is the reason why this works. It works because you now don't have any tiny guards in the starting lineup, and he's getting better matchups off the bench. If you still had the tiny guard in the starting lineup, the same result happens, except this time it's the worst tiny guard.
yeah, it's the worst defender on your roster, except for maybe Luka Garza because he can't move. And like again, we talked about this when he was here. Like Simons definitely put forth the effort to be a better defender, and he was definitely a better defender in Boston than he was in Portland, but he still wasn't a good one. I do wish that he got some overlap with Jayson Tatum because I think they would have had some really fun little runs together, but ultimately it was the right move um, to make. And I would, in hindsight, even knowing that Vucevic got hurt, still would have made that trade. It's just unfortunate that that he got hurt, and now we're back to watching Garza. And hopefully that's not something that we have to worry about too much. I mean, looking at the schedule the rest of the way, there's only a few games where it's like, God, that's going to suck. Like watching him have to guard one of Naz Reid, or I would probably like he's probably gonna have to guard Naz Reid or Julius Randle against Minnesota in a couple of weeks. That's
That'll
gonna
go well.
suck. Like he'll have to guard Chet tomorrow. That's gonna suck when he comes off the bench. And then there's Chet again on the 25th.
But Luka Garza could score 80 against the Wizards on Sunday.
He could, and there is precedent for that happening. Which is a phenomenal segue into what was maybe the most disgusting display of basketball in NBA history.
So obviously, like the game wasn't like on network television or anything, and I don't have League Pass. So I'm like seeing all the updates. I'm like, what the hell's happening? So then today I'm like watching all the highlights, and I watched the entirety of the 4th quarter. It's the grossest basketball I've ever seen in my life. The Wizards triple teaming Bam at like half court. And then as soon as either he scores or he doesn't score, the like Miami bench warmers intentionally fouling to get the ball back. It is just the most disgusting display of basketball I've ever seen.
Just so unethical. So unethical. The game has been lost. And I thought when Devin Booker scored 70 against the Celtics, 10 years ago at this point, like that was the most unethical display of basketball I'd ever see because the Suns were down by like, I don't know, like 20 or 18 or something. It was a blowout. with like a minute and a half left, and they were intentionally fouling because Booker had like 60, which was brutal. Like they weren't going to come back and win. It was definitely 100% about getting Booker up to 70 points, which opened up a whole can of worms when people were trying to say that he like gamed Avery Bradley, who didn't play that night. Just ridiculous. But no, I mean, how many free throws did Bam take last night? It was like 46. Like he took more than 40 free throws last night. That is insane. I think I saw that he has the record now for the most free throw attempts and makes in a game in NBA history. Don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure that stat's correct. But he was what, like 36 of 43 or something like that, or 30 or 38 for 46 or something. He took so many free throws. He took 48 shots. He somehow almost matched his shot attempts in just free throws.
Yeah.
And it's just gross, man. Like 83 points. Like to score that many points is impressive. I don't want to completely poo-poo it and be like, oh well. He took 43 shots and took 43 free throws last night. Disgusting. Like 7 of 22 from 3. Like that's brutal. What a weird night in sports last night was.
Between the World Baseball
what's a bigger stain on the NBA? The fact that Bam had 83 or the fact Cam Payne had 32? He hit like 8 threes.
Yeah, I feel like it is the Bam thing because it was so unethical. Versus like Cam Payne just popping off and hitting every 3. Like role players can do that.
Yeah.
Versus like, and Bam is obviously not a role player, but like I texted one of my friends from from college last night. It's like we did a fantasy draft of guys who was going to score like 80 points in a game this season. Where the hell would we have taken Bam? Like it would have like I feel like we would have like forgotten about him during the draft. Like because even like guys who are worse than Bam, like a Peyton Pritchard could just like pop off for like 100 threes, or like Michael Porter Jr. could just like chuck forever. But like Bam doing it is just like so impossible to compute.
It's only the 4th time all season he scored at least 30. And his previous season high was 32.
Yeah.
So he took 43 free throws last night, like I said. The previous 9 games, he attempted 40 combined. That's nuts. And like I said, his season high entering last night was 32. He did that back on January 22nd against Portland. It's just, I don't know. It's just gross. Like again, I don't want to like completely poo-poo it because he still scored 83 points, but like 43 free throw attempts, dude. I couldn't imagine watching that basketball game and like enjoying it. You know? Again, 43 free throws is crazy. Like how many games this year have the Celtics shot that many free throws? I'd be willing to bet they haven't done that once all season. I mean, they're a jump shooting team, so it would make sense that they don't have a whole lot of free throws. But I'm gonna check real quick, see if I can pull that up. I don't think I can pull that up. Like just sort through all the games. Never mind. I'm not gonna look. But it's just gross. Just gross. And then Mac McClung had 50 in the G League.
And now you're gonna get so many people on Twitter saying like he needs a chance. He doesn't.
Yeah. But I'd be down to get him back in the dunk contest at least.
I agree with that. Or like let me look at the NBA records right now, just for the sake of like if the Sacramento Kings, as much as we talk about the Sacramento Kings, like if they wanted to bring in Mac McClung for the bit and like sell a ticket, like they're 16 and 50. Like what's the harm? Like if they wanted to do it, sure. Because when you're
I do want to point out though, you mentioned the Sacramento Kings. Mac McClung is a 2-time Chicago Bull, so it only makes sense that he would complete the cycle and go to Sacramento.
Yeah, like there we
He's even
go.
played for the Bulls this year.
Yeah, so I think it makes a lot of sense. And if he's terrible on defense and a traffic cone, great. It helps your lottery odds. And if he randomly can score, maybe he can be a bench piece in the NBA, but he certainly isn't like what people who don't understand basketball want to believe he is.
He just strikes me as somebody who will end up on the Heat and give the Celtics a crisp 16 just randomly, and I will never forget that night. He does have a 20-point game in his career. That would have had to have been that year he was with Philly. Yeah, because he averaged 12.5 points a game, and he played 2 games, so it would have had to have been then. He's only played 10 games in the NBA, and he's won 2 dunk contests. That's funny. But yeah, he's played for the Bulls this year. He's also played for the Pacers this year. So it's only fitting that he ends up in Sacramento to finish the year.
Yeah.
He's only 27. Yeah, I could see him carving out a role there. Imagine going from Russell Westbrook and then pulling him from the game and then going to Mac McClung.
Imagine those backcourt minutes together.
Oh my God, that would be disgusting. And I say that very derogatorily. That'd be horrible. That would be worse than Bam's 83-point game, for sure. What a wild night in sports. The Max Crosby trade getting canceled. Obviously, the WBC, like you said, just absurd. But yeah, any final thoughts on the Celtics before we just preview these 4 games? Maybe we'll be able to somehow record 2 weeks in a row. I'm amazed we got through 42 minutes without me having a Wi-Fi moment.
Yeah, that's big. Derek White beer is back. That's important. So shout out.
He might be back too.
Yeah, he's playing. All it took was Jayson Tatum, which
Crazy
is
how that works.
kind of been the narrative for the past however many months we've been doing this.
Yeah.
It was like once he gets his Tatum back, he'll probably be fine. And he has his Tatum back and he looks fine. Who would have thunk?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so very excited to get my New England sports players variety pack. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
But could be. Besides that, I really don't have a ton of thoughts. They look good though, and I think going into this stretch, it'll just be about whatever you can do to if you can get to the 1 seed. Obviously, that would be great. But like if you are the 2 seed, it's also fine because like oh no, we'd have to play a series in Detroit, and notably famous home court advantage. I don't give a shit. Like it's not like none of these teams in the East am I that concerned about, besides like maybe the Knicks at MSG. But it's like I just think the Celtics are a much better constructed basketball team than the Knicks right now, and they're a much better coached basketball team than the Knicks. Like as long as Tatum plays, I don't see how this team misses the finals, which I know is bordering on incredibly arrogant. But it's like these teams aren't good. Like if we were in the West, like or if any of these teams that are in the West were in the East, like we could point at obviously Oklahoma City is the odds-on favorite, but it's like yeah, you look at San Antonio, look at Denver, you even look at teams like Houston or Minnesota. It's like yeah, I could see those teams giving the Celtics a big run for their money. I'm not concerned about these teams. Like they're not very good. Like I think the Cavs freak me out the most just because of the whole Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. Like they have superstars and they are well coached. But at the same time, none of those guys have been great postseason performers in the past. And you have a
Especially
better record.
Harden.
Yeah, James Harden's like, a especially against the Celtics. James Harden in the playoffs is like an all-timer terrible. Mitchell has also struggled against the Celtics in the postseason in the past. It's like, I think they're the best constructed roster of these teams because I don't buy Detroit. Detroit is giving power, friendship, Atlanta Hawks. Cade Cunningham's better than anyone who is on that team, but like it's similar energy. And then like the Knicks, there's too many problems there. They're not a legit contender, and everyone else is bad.
Yeah, it's really a in my opinion, a 3-team race for the Eastern Conference. I don't consider the Knicks there, which is crazy because I remember at the beginning of the season I had them as my 1 seed. I just the way it's playing out, and I there's no way to prove that this would have happened because obviously Tatum got hurt. Moment. Oh no, we had a Wi-Fi moment. I jinxed it. But the way Tatum was starting to play as that series was progressing, I truly think the Celtics would have come back even down 3-1 and won that series. I really do. I don't think the Knicks had it in them, especially if the Celtics got back to TD Garden in Game 5 and beat the living breaks off of them like they did without Tatum. Because then you got to deal with Game 6 on the road, Tatum, which he's automatic. And then unless we had the injury situation again in Game 7 like Miami, I don't think anyone's beaten the Celtics in the Game 7 at TD Garden.
I agree.
But yeah, I'm with you. And one more thing I'll add on the Celtics overall is I saw this tweet and it was a picture. It was the headshot of Derek White from a few years ago, and then next to him was the current headshot of Ron Harper Jr. They had the same hair, which is crazy. But it was like what the league doesn't understand is that we are recreating Derek White from scratch.
And that's like a terrifying concept for the rest of the league.
It is. I mean, Ron Harper Jr. looks like an actual NBA player. Like he doesn't do it consistently, and that's obviously a big step in his development is doing that consistently. But like when he goes into the game, I'm actually excited to watch him play. Like I'm actually more excited to watch him play than I am when Jordan Walsh checks into the game. And Jordan Walsh started games for this team at one point this season.
No, and I think that is like a huge testament to Brad and to Joe is like these role players are taking jumps and taking leaps. And like if they hadn't, this team wouldn't be a legit contender even with Tatum back. Because you can't just have Tatum and Brown in a prayer. Like Pritchard has taken another step forward this year, especially coming off the bench since the Simons trade. And then you look at Baylor and Ugo and Walsh and Harper and Kada, obviously, and even someone like Garza, who, like, yeah, we make fun of Garza. He's still playing the best basketball he's ever played in the NBA. Like, everybody is playing well and everybody is, becoming a better basketball player. So credit to Brad getting the right guys in the building, and then Joe and his staff for, working on the stuff they need to work on and putting these guys in positions to succeed.
Yeah, no question about it. They've like you said, without the leaps of these role players, they're nowhere near a position to contend. And without the leaps of these role players, is Jayson Tatum even coming back this season?
Right.
Like I get the whole like if he's healthy, it's better for him to like get some games under his belt and then have a normal off season. But if they were the 6th seed right now, I just genuinely don't think he's playing. I think they're maybe like aggressively ramping him up. And then if they like somehow jump to the 4, it's like, okay, maybe the last 10 to 15, he'll come back and we'll see. But there's no way. And I think some of it too, and I'm not trying to just completely gas JT up. I mean, I know he doesn't need my help singing his praise. I mean, he's a damn good basketball player. Obviously his resume speaks for itself. But I do think some of the ascension of these players is seeing the work that Tatum was putting in behind the scenes. Like this guy who ruptured his Achilles in May is working his ass off to come back and play this season, a season that a lot of the fans were deeming a retooling. Even some were calling for them to tank. Local media was calling for them to tank. they shed like hundreds of millions of dollars in payroll. I mean, if we're talking tax payroll, they shed like $400 million in tax payroll.
Right.
And you see JT working behind the scenes, working to come back, and it's like, oh shit, like he believes in this group, and confidence will leak through into what these guys are actually able to put out there on the floor.
100%.
Baylor Shireman has an outside shot at finishing the year 50, 40, 90.
Yeah.
Like he's at 40, he's at 46, 39, 89. I doubt he'll get there.
Well, and also, like, I forget who was a local, like, Celtics beat writer who said this, and they're right. It won't happen because we've completely lost the plot on what this award means and represents. Nimi 1000% should win Most Improved Player this year. Like, it shouldn't even be like up for discussion when you look at a guy who has developed into, like, when you're ranking centers, like, we might have to have like an aggressive conversation about Nimi being like a top 12 center in the NBA, which is insane going into this season. Like, you never would have said that.
I feel like saying top 12 is being kind to the field too. I think you could even say as high as maybe like top 8 the way he's played this year.
Right. And it's like, I know, once again, we've lost the plot on what Most Improved Player means. It goes to like a lottery pick who has taken a jump. Like, who's the favorite right now? Let me see if I can get those live odds. Well, this year it's like, it's Jaylen Brown right now. And it's like, Jaylen Brown's a great player, don't get me wrong. But it's like, Jaylen Brown's taking the expected next development from last year averaging, 12 and 10 to averaging 18 and 11, which like was kind of the expectation, especially with, him now being 22. Like, that's when you're going to develop versus Keita last year. Like, what did Keita even average last year? He averaged 5 and 4 in 13 minutes a game. Yeah. And now he's averaging 10 and 8 as the starting center on a title contender. Like, that's a much more, especially also, and that's not even factoring in what he's developed into as a rim protector, and he's brought the incessant fouling down a lot. Like, he's taken such a big step this year. And like, I've said it a million times and we've talked about it a lot. If Keita doesn't, we talk like the role players as a whole is one thing. If Keita is not playing this well, this team probably has at least 10 less wins, if not more. Like, and that's why, like, basketball, you can't have a stat like WAR the way you can in baseball, because like you can't quantify what having an actual center on a roster that has no other actual center represents to this team.
Yeah, but if you want to try and quantify it, there is value over replacement player. And last year Nimi was at 0.3 and this year's at 1.5. So he's in value, he's jumped times 5, which is I think honestly, like I'm kind of just pulling it out of my ass, but like I feel like if you watch him play, I would agree that his value to this team has gone up by at least that much. I mean, I think what will end up dooming him in the end is partially what you said, with it being the way that these awards are voted on. It's like going from like really good to star, as opposed to like going from no name to like, okay, he's not horrible, to like, oh, this guy's pretty fucking good. Like, Nimi's a good basketball player. Now, he doesn't have like any sort of spacing to his game. Like, he's not gonna shoot any threes. I think he's taken 6 this year. Obviously missed them all. But like, he's getting 12 more minutes a night or 11 more minutes a night. He's doubled his points per game. He's more than doubled his rebounds per game. He's doubled his assists per game, more than doubled steals, almost doubled his blocks. And like you said, the fouling early in the season was a huge problem, but it's down to under 3 a game now. And like you said, with the way the Celtics are playing, or the way the Celtics have played overall, they're nowhere near here if he doesn't take a massive leap. Like, we early in the season, we were talking about whether or not it was going to be Nimi starting or Chris Boucher Like Boucher, imagine if he was starting for this team. God, or Xavier Tillman. Like, no. Nemi's been awesome. He won't win the award, but he definitely deserves a lot more credit than he has gotten. He's
He
been
has 8th
fantastic.
in odds currently, which is
That's ridiculous.
yeah. Like I'm happy though that at least there's only 10 people on the board. He is more likely to win in gambling world than Michael Porter Jr. and that makes me happy.
Michael
Because
Porter Jr. is considered a top 10 player for most improved. He's been in the league for like a decade.
yeah, and he's just taking more shots because he's on a bad team. He's at 10th in odds, but he is number 10.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. He's been in the league for 7 years.
Well, like what I will say is like the Norman
And he's gotten
Powell,
worse.
the Norman Powell most improved player push was kind of fun, even though he was obviously also old as hell. I did think that was kind of a good bit last year when they were trying to make Norman Powell most improved player happen. I didn't necessarily agree with it because it also, again, was clearly much more of a usage situation compared to his usage in Toronto. But, like, I did find it funny that we were campaigning for, like, a 32-year-old man to win most improved player, which kind of does get the spirit of the award more than, like, a 22-year-old. But, yeah, as of now, it's basically, gambling-wise, a two-horse race between Jalen Duren and Jalen Johnson. Two guys who, like, we obviously knew were going to be really, really good, and now are playing really, really good.
Norman Powell was an all-star this year?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. That is crazy. Wow.
Like, I don't understand how we can have, like, Colin Gillespie have better odds than Nemi. That, like, get out of here with that woke nonsense.
Yeah.
Keontae George in quotation marks. Like, give me a break.
We're gonna put a Utah Jazz player ahead of Neemias Queta with the behavior of the Utah Jazz this year. That's not Keontae George's fault, but
well, speaking of the behavior of where a person's from, in third in odds, Denny. So
you're making it a habit to bring up Israel every single time we record.
You're the one who said it.
I did. I am the one who said it. By the way, Brian Bayo did not struggle against them as my fear was laid out in. Actually, I don't know if I said that on air or off air on the pesky report. But he did not struggle against them. The Dominican Republic very much didn't struggle against them. That's beside the point. That graphic is going to get so much circulation, by the way. Anyway, not a political podcast.
That's the next spinoff.
Oh man. But yeah, like we've been saying,
report.
The what report?
Kirk.
Is it just me, or does everyone look like him now? Like not even Kirkified pictures. Like there's just people just are posting selfies, and I'm like, you look kind of like him. I saw one earlier. This isn't going to. Nobody's gonna see it. I mean, I could share my screen. I could always do that. Yeah, I'm going to.
If you made it to minute 59.
If you made it to minute 59, congratulations. You're going to see this. Is it this one? Hold on, it's loading. There we go. Tell me that doesn't look like him. Like, it looks just like him.
He carries the flame.
I mean, everyone looks like him now. It's crazy.
Well, no, who doesn't?
Who?
Tusky.
Tusky does not look like Charlie Kirk. You're right. He definitely does not. But that one guy on Team USA hockey did. I don't remember who it was. But when they posted the picture, everyone was like, huh? Anyway, we spent a lot of time on Charlie Kirk. Let's move off of that. So we got 4 games coming up this week.
Sorry to keep going back. I'm still not over Stephen A. Smith calling Christian Kirk Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk had 147 yards against the Steelers. Ridiculous. Oh, I do have one more thing to say. It has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. There's nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. But we talked about Bam. Last night was an awful night for Kobe's legacy.
Yeah.
Because not only did Bam pass him in single game scoring, Luka passed him in 30-point triple doubles with the Lakers, and Nick Batum passed him in all-time 3-pointers. Like, just everybody was passing Kobe Bryant last night. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And Aaron Judge got his teeth kicked in
by Greg Weissert.
Yeah, so if you're the face of the Celtics rivals, don't get out of bed on March 10th.
No, don't do it. Do not do it. But yeah, so 4 games this week. At OKC on Prime at 9:30 p.m. on Thursday today for those listening. Then who will be the one that passes Bam Adebayo in scoring on Saturday? That's on NBA TV. I'm sure it's also on local TV, but ESPN saying it's on NBA TV, so I felt obligated to share. 6 p.m. on Saturday. Then Monday is Phoenix. They come to Boston, 7:30 start time. And then next Wednesday, the Steve Kerr Hate Watch at 7 p.m. That's on ESPN. They're like I said at the beginning, no Steph for this one. Or at least that's what it's looking like. Shams Charania has said yesterday that he's out for at least 10 more days with an ailing knee, which is just code for this. The Warriors are fucking terrible. Yeah, 4 games. How are the C's looking after these 4?
Call me the Golden State Warriors through the first 4 games of the finals, because I think they're going to be up 3-1. I think they're going to get their teeth kicked in by Oklahoma City because that team is a wagon. And I have a bad feeling about this one. Now, granted, we don't know who's playing for both of these teams yet. Tatum, Pritchard, and White are all game time decisions. And OKC has iHeart and J-Dub out. So we'll see who plays basketball. And Oklahoma City's been resting guys anyways. But even when they rest guys, like the other Jalen Williams has become like the best backup big in the league. And then both Cason Wallace and Jared McCain have been demons off the bench. And that's without getting into AJ Mitchell. This Thunder team is so stacked and so loaded. Like, they have no weakness. They have like a 10, 11-man rotation of guys who are all good at basketball, which most teams in the league cannot say. They're a scary team. So I think they're going to lose in Oklahoma City. And then they get to go back home. The Wizards are a disaster. They just let Bam score 180 on them. They're not stopping the Celtics. Like, give me a break. And then Phoenix, we've done the whole routine on Phoenix about whether or not they're good, real good or fake good. Dylan Brooks is dead, though. And, I know Devin Booker's had moments against the Celtics, but, I don't think that roster is that good. If they are going to lose a second game, it is that one just by, default compared to who the rest of the opponents are. But, I think they win it, and then it's Golden State. Jayson Tatum's going to be so amped up against Kerr. No Steph, no Jimmy. I'm not worried about a Golden State team without any of their actual players. So I'm going 3-1.
I'm with you. I'm going 3-1. I have them winning the exact same 3 games. I truly think that we might be getting our first Tatum 30 ball against Golden State. And the only reason I'm saying might and not definitely is because I really do think there's a strong chance it could be Washington. like Tatum gets up for the Wizards. He always kills them, but that was also mostly when they had Bradley Beal, because he always would see red when he saw his fellow St. Louis brethren. I don't know what the word would be for someone from St. Louis. St. Louisan. I don't know. But yeah, I think they go 3-1. I don't see a
Or
world where
Tatum
they
gets 90 in that Wizards game.
That'd be pretty cool. He would have no problem passing Bam and scoring.
Yeah.
So I guess we can thank Bam Adebayo for passing Kobe for that reason, because Tatum will have no problem scoring 85. It begs the question though: is somebody ever going to get to Wilt's alleged 100 points? Like if Bam got 83, he had 40 in the first half.
Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, he went 7 of 22 from 3. If he hits 4 more of those,
right?
He's at what? That's 97. So I guess 5 more. So I mean, he would have had to go 12 or 22 from 3. So that would, I mean, that's an uber efficient night. But like,
yeah, but like if you gave like Steph enough of a green light,
you gave Steph 43 shots, he's probably coming close. But he wouldn't have the free throws. So you would need somebody that can shoot the shit out of the ball, but also has no problem getting downhill. And if we're keeping it a buck, like there are a few guys that other than like prime JT who could get that hot from 3 and also have no problem going downhill. The only downside is when Tatum's that hot from 3, he only shoots threes.
Yeah.
So that's the one downside, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it took forever. How long it took? When did Kobe score 81? It was 2006.
Yeah.
So it took 20 years to get to 85. I think we're probably a ways away from somebody getting to.
Or it could be Sunday.
That. Could be Sunday or Saturday.
Oh, that's on Saturday. I thought it was on Sunday.
Yeah, it's on Saturday. Jaylen could also do it because Jaylen actually has no problem going downhill. The only problem is he is obsessed with mid-range jump shots.
Could Luka Garza do it?
No. How many games? I got to check this now because my mind has started going. How many games do I have to go back to get Luka Garza to 83 points? Like, how many games has it been? I mean, he's averaging 7 this year, so I mean, like, it can't be like that many, right? All right, let's go back to he had 19 against the Rockets on the 4th of February. Let's see where he's at for total points if we go back then. 10, 29, 36. Oh, never mind. It loaded. 73. In his last 14 games, he has 73 points. So, and he had 16 the game before that. So you have to go back 15 games for Luka Garza to get to Bam Adebayo's 83.
Are the Wizards the equivalent of playing 15 games?
I would say so. They're pretty bad. They're pretty horrible. I feel bad for Alex Sarr, though, because he had objectively a really good scoring night.
Yeah.
But he also gave up 83 points to Bam Adebayo. So, like, you know, as much as I clown Luka, he's never given up 83 points to anybody. At least not in one game. Not yet, but his career is still young.
Cooper Flag's gonna drop 83 on Luka.
I could see it. But yeah. Any final thoughts? We always find a way to get past an hour. It's so impressive. We were done talking about basketball at 44 minutes. Do I shout out Charlie Kirk for getting us here? I guess I already did.
Yeah, I mean, no take backs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rescind that.
This podcast has been sponsored by Turning Point USA.
No. No, it hasn't, and I'm not gonna say it could be. It's not Sam Adams. Good Lord.
I got nothing. I'm ready for bed.
Sims. All right. Well, just glad to finally get a basketball pod up. I mean, we've again not from a lack of trying. My computer just literally could not handle Riverside.
Riverside is too powerful.
have I shown you the state of my actual like PC?
Yeah.
Like I use my work laptop. I'm gonna show an updated on the screen because I wanna give people a look see here. I showed them that Charlie Kirk Red Dead Redemption 2 picture, so they get to see what my laptop looks like. So I'm screwed. Not an expense that I'm excited to make. Although if I only keep it open to here, I can still use it. Not right now because I already deep fried it, but like I was able to make the graphic for this episode already, so that's nice. But anyway,
Little did you know you need to update it based on the episode content.
yeah, that's true. That's true. The pictures, the new thumbnail is going to be of Charlie Kirk. But anyway, that'll do it for this edition of the Hour Back Report. Again, episode 18 for Jack, and I'm Jordan. For Jack, I'm Jordan. Until next time.
We did it. We did it!